Hey, hold on. Heavy Eagle kicking the big, riding the bull, waiting on the bear. I hear you, Heavy Eagle. Let me adjust this friggin' camera. I had it set up on my desk, and I think I'm gonna like it better up here. Yeah, okay. I'm technically challenged. Ah! Yeah, this is the kind of shit you should do before you come on air, right? Ah! All right, hey, good evening, guys. And this is my first official. Can y'all hear that? Leonard Skinner on the hunt. That's pretty good, right? Guess I should turn that down. Sunday night, 7:36 ish. I'm in my office. I hadn't even. I should have looked at the futures. Somebody can chat what the futures are doing right now. Um, anyhow, I've been thinking a lot about trying to figure out this YouTube thing, and as you can tell at the beginning of this video, how technically challenged I am. So we're doing the best we can. I've been posting some charts today. We're going to talk about those, but I want to talk about. I put down Kick the Pig, like my first podcast. Well, I know nothing about podcasting, and I have no technical savvy. But a lot of you know that's been following me when I started tweeting. I did it just as a way to break the monotony of trading. I live out here in the middle of nowhere in South Georgia, and a long time ago, I went and I sat down and I talked with a preacher, and I told him my stories, my trials, my tribulations, and all this stuff. And he said, you know, you should, he said, your story needs to be told. You should write a book, you know, do this, all this kind of stuff. And so I've kind of held back from what my calling of this whole social media thing is about. So I'm gonna get back to why a lot of you guys originally followed me, and that was to discuss, um, you know, this, you know, I don't know whether to use foul language or not. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I over exaggerate that, you know, as a persona on Twitter. But there's a lot of people that when I was being just straight honest with people that have reached out, and I've kind of have gotten away from that, and that was the real reason I ever started doing this. Now I've got a subscription service, and I try not to bombard the airways advertising, you know. And that's a lot, you know. It's just like now, it's just about like everybody on Twitter now has a pay service, and the people that have done this, I totally respect that because you know, guys, when you get a bunch of followers and you try and intermingle, you do spend a lot of time doing it, and I can see where, I mean, it becomes a job. And I've always tried, if somebody comments, I've always tried to at least like or comment back. And so anyhow, many of you guys know my story about, I came from a family of great dysfunction. I meant like the stuff I've seen, going to the top of the mountain, coming off the top of the mountain. Because see, there's only two ways you're going. You're either climbing the mountain or you're gonna get knocked off the mountain. You don't get to hang out there at the top unless you're Google or Microsoft or Apple or somebody that can pay everybody off. But that's another story. And so anyhow, I'm gonna try and somebody told me that I'm funnier on my spaces. Well, I'm gonna try and be funny here on YouTube too. And we'll just see where this goes. If this goes somewhere where it's supposed to go, if this is my calling, then I'm going to continue doing this. If it's not, you know, this is free. It's a podcast, and you know, we're going to go from there. We're going to talk about all kind of things. I'm going to talk about the stock market. I'm going to tell you, talk about life, talk about your ego, talk about why you do things. Because that was one of the things that I worked a lot on. Because everybody wants to talk about, charts or this, that, and the other, and there's nowhere near enough time spent on the things that really affect your trading. Is your mindset, your psychology of your mind, your ego, the things your ego makes you do, the things you don't even know your ego's making you do. So we're gonna take this one day at a time and talk about. I'm gonna talk about things that's on my mind. I tweeted earlier, hey, it was a proud moment for South Georgia. We had a guy for Savannah's considered South Georgia, I guess. Pretty much I-16 across Georgia. Anything south of that's considered South Georgia. Brian Harmon won the Open. Used to be the British Open, but they made damn sure we don't call it that no more. The Open. Anyhow, a kid from South Georgia. I mean, and you might not be a golfer, but think about whatever your dream, whatever you dream you could accomplish. And that person reached that today, which I think was really, I mean, it was, I was rooting for him big time. My son won a closer golf tournament, and I was like, who cares? But anyhow, this week we got lots of earnings coming out this week. What are some of the earnings this week? Let's see. We got Domino's and Phillips, Whirlpool tomorrow. Tuesday, Verizon, 3M, Visa, Alphabet, Microsoft, Teladoc, Spotify. Meta's on Wednesday. No, let's see. eBay, AT&T, Coca-Cola. Ooh, Thursday, Crocs. That's interesting. I posted a Crocs chart earlier. Could be anyhow. We'll see. The earnings is going to really tell. The earnings is really going to tell where the health of this market, because we're way above the averages, which I'm a firm believer. But I've told you guys, if whatever the averages are doing, if something's above, it's pretty much stays bullish in your mindset or in the setup. You got the Qs are sitting right on their 8-day, I believe. Hold on, I got some notes here. But it's above all averages. The day came down to the 8, and we're sitting right on pivot. So this week, especially for the tech sector with Microsoft and those Meta, still want to call it Facebook Meta. What the hell is Meta? But anyhow, that's going to give us a direction for the techs. Are we going to break down below the averages and set up for a short? Is this the top? We don't really know. I know that if you play the averages, and it's just like, you think about it in baseball terms. I mean, how does a batter get paid? By what? The averages, right? Well, it's the same attention you should pay to the averages in trading. Doesn't mean that something above the average could very well be a good short, but you will save your time and your money if you wait for them to set up, below their averages on a bullish thing. On the SPYs, the SPYs had an inside day. And it's still not even back to an average. So I mean, is a pullback? Would a pullback be good here? Yes, we need a pullback. I think that last week, I think we finally broke below it on Friday. The Qs were above the upper Bollinger Band like for four consecutive days, I believe. So I mean, I'm not bearish here, but I could definitely see a pullback, and the earnings will tell us which way we're going. I mean, are the earnings going to be bought or sold? I think the earnings are going to probably come in good or even better. Now, with that being said, these were lower These were lower numbers, so we're going to come out. Are they going to beat lower numbers? we'll just have to see. I mean, I could tell you what I would guess they would be. Um, but I think if you look at, and as I don't, if I'm not always looking at the screens, I've got other screens around me over here, and I got screens over here, and so I'm glancing around at some of the things I'm looking at. But if we, if we rally off these earnings, if we sell off these earnings, and then you go into August, kind of listless trading. With algos, it's more active now than it used to be. But August is. I used to before I had kids. I used to take, if I could, I would try to take the entire month of August off. Back before I had kids, I had a big F-250 and a Lance camper on the back of it, and I would go around the country fly fishing. I'd go out to Montana and fish. I'd go into Canada and fish. I'd come down to Shenandoah Valley, went up to upstate New York, into the Adirondacks. I love doing that. So all my kids will be done with school in 2 years, and so I probably won't do that no more. No, but anyhow, so it'll be interesting as we go through these earnings. You know, I've got a lot of theories on what's going on. I mean, I think that if you look, if everything goes bad, everybody's saying, "Hey, there's a pivot." Man, could there be a pivot? Yeah. I mean, I think you think in an election year. I mean, of course, we would never do anything to manipulate the stock market during an election year. That would never happen, right? Never, never. So you got the 10-year. Are the bonds trying to uninvert here? I noticed, I don't know if it was Friday, maybe Thursday, there was a big disparity between the 10 and the 20. One was going one way, one's going the other. I'm not a macro guy. I'm not a bond guy. I'm just telling you things that I watch. Anyhow, obviously, I was looking at the Qs. Apple and Microsoft are 25% of the Qs. Apple and Microsoft are 25% of the Qs. So if you were trading the Qs, I would be watching every tick in Apple and Microsoft. Just a little tip. The Russell, the Ruddy, still above the Russell, still above its averages. Everything's above their averages. With everything above their averages, even though you can say this is bad and that's bad, and there are some numbers out there that are bad. Now, is the government going to juggle these? I mean, excuse me, they would never juggle numbers to make things look better. They would never do that, and they would if they would never revise numbers to change anything, right? Yeah, right. So anyhow, some of the stocks I'm looking at this week, Crocs. I was looking at Crocs. Of course, they got earnings on Thursday. They had a very they've got an inverted hammer on the weekly. Had a big bearish candle. It's inside of that bearish candle right now. I'd watch the break on Crocs. That's what I would do. Tesla. Now Tesla, has dropped? I think 42 points in the last 2 days. It broke below its 8 and 21 average. It's below its pivot. Tesla's going to be one now, and this is, I'm telling you how I would look at Tesla. Tesla's at a point now where it either rallies back above the averages right here, or it's going to sell off, and then Tesla is going to come back to the averages. And to me, that would be a better time to short Tesla. I'm not saying short Tesla. I'm saying Tesla's at an area right now where it needs to be watched if you trade Tesla, because where it's at right now, it's going to change. If it cannot rally, it's going to change trends to down here. Okay. But it's Tesla. They can play those games that they like to play. And we'll see. What else were they looking at? Snow has an inside day. I don't remember if I looked at the weekly chart or not. I did not see Snow on the earnings list this week. Maybe they are, and I just missed them. Okay, but those are some inside days that I'm looking to trade tomorrow. Just gonna I don't. Some of you guys like to trade earnings. I mean, sometimes I'll put a spread on or something, or I'll strangle something during earnings. Most of the times I stay away from earnings because earnings are a crapshoot because they can come out with earnings. You don't know what they're going to say in the conference call. It's just a risk you don't need to take because that's basically a teetotal gamble unless you got it stretched out on some kind of calendar spread or something where you can buy some time and, so, but anyhow, so anyhow, basically the, what I was looking at on the, for the market this week, those are probably the stocks I'll be looking at in the morning. I did carry a small. I was short. I'm short the Qs, and I had some VIX, and I ain't been long the VIX in a long time. But I bought some VIX calls, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong with this this week. Now I want to go back to what I was talking about when I first started this thing, talking about the things we've talked about that I've shared, and I want to go back because some of you guys just now started following me. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna tell this story in progression, and I'm gonna lead I'm gonna not stop this time. I'm gonna tell you the things that people said that needed to be shared. So here it goes, and I'll try not to be too long. I know people don't like watching real long videos. At least I don't. Was that the best preacher's one that gives a short sermon, right? It's just like anyhow. Okay, I'll keep going. Many of you know, and I shared this like in one of my probably the first space, and I hadn't done many spaces lately. Just and the reason being it just it's kind of the way social media works. It's kind of, I don't know what the right word is, sickening, I guess. People, but anyhow, many of you know that I came from a very dysfunctional family. When I say dysfunction, I'm talking about we put the fun in dysfunction. I'm talking about sure enough dysfunction, total. The as many of you know, the I told you about my mom was a delusional schizophrenic woman who was institutionalized when I was 10, and that's where I became when I was 10, and it took me a long time to overcome. That's when I became a victim in life. And it gives you this feeling of being less adequate. And of course, this is just your ego at play trying to destroy you because, see, your ego is your enemy. And most people can't define it. And I'm not going to go real in depth of that tonight. But one of the things that I know a lot of you guys it was brought up in situations that were worse than mine. And I'm not looking for sympathy when I tell my story because somebody told me one time if you looked up sympathy in the dictionary, you'd find it in between syphilis and shit. So if you want sympathy, it's in between syphilis and you know what. So anyhow, that's but see, here's the thing about it is that it affected my mindset until I was ready to make a change. And that story that I've told before, the salesman was traveling and he back before cell phones and you didn't have a MapQuest. He pulls up to this farmer's house and there was a dog sitting on the porch and he went up asking the guy directions and directly that dog raised his head and just made this loud and the guy didn't think nothing about it and he kept talking to the farmer and the dog, did it again. And he was like, hey man, what's wrong with your dog? He said, he's laying on a nail. And the guy goes, well, why didn't he get up? He said, because it doesn't hurt bad enough. And so that's kind of where I was in life. The nail just didn't hurt bad enough to get up. And so my question to you is, when's your nail going to hurt bad enough? That's where you got to reach. I have people reach out all the time. Hey, my husband's struggling with drugs or alcohol or this. And I was like, until your husband calls me, there ain't nothing we can do here. You can pray, but there ain't nothing you can't interfere. Excuse me, I dropped my pen. Got it. The number 10. Yeah, best pen on the market. Best cheap pen on the market. I've had some expensive pens and they're not even as good as this right here. Sobriety test. Ooh. Hey, you don't have to do a sobriety test, but that's another episode of this. But anyhow, you know, the things that all of you guys, like, if you came from dysfunction, the things that you guys witnessed, it wasn't fair. It was not. I mean, I think about the things, not just the child abuse, being locked in closets and that kind of stuff, but coming home from back. Remember when the cell phones used to hang up on on the wall back in the day? When you had the long cord and you got in a fight with your siblings to get on it. They were used to be real heavy, and I can remember my mom like knocking out my dad, like walking in the door of the front house, bam, just knocking him out. Yeah, and then I had to. My dad had to call the police because she was trying to murder my dad with a knife. Yeah, yeah, just all kinds of fun stuff, right? And so the reason I share this is not to tell you the story for sympathy or anything like that. What happens is you're in your mind, in your ego, in your belief system. You have all these things and that go through your mind, and you create this prison for yourself. And when I was you think, hey, if I make this amount of money, this is gonna buy me my whatever happiness. This is if I had this, if I had that, this is gonna make me happy. And I got news for you. You're gonna be disappointed in this stuff that it's become, actually money becomes your god. And that's where I was at. I mean, I made a lot of money, but I was miserable. But it afforded me to be able to have habits that most people couldn't afford. I could function, but but I was half the time I was half the time. That's a lie. You'd be strung out on drugs or alcohol or whatever. I mean, does this sound like you? Hey, you had a great day trading. Let's drink. You had a bad day trading. Let's drink. See, I drank either way. I was either happy drinking or I was drowning my sorrows. And see, I don't. That's where, like, if you're not, your ego will make you self-destruct. And I was to a point in my life where I was not going to do that again. I wanted to figure out what was wrong in my head to make me do the stupid trades. And you know what I'm talking about? When you buy something that's not really set up, you sell something that your stop hadn't been triggered. That insane trading that I think some of you have probably done. That's kind of where I was at, and I've spent a long time. Just if you really dig deep into your mindset of what's happening, um, here's the thing about it is that you believe the lies that you've been telling yourself. And that's where I was at, because see, I had formed this opinion that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't deserving of all this. But see, that's a lie from the pit of hell, because everybody, you are worthy. I mean, who your parents were or were not has nothing to do with who you are. Your ex-spouse, your whatever, it has nothing to do. You're buying the lie. And that's one of the things that I preach is most people don't really know what the truth is. And it goes into every aspect of your life, whether it be in your trading or your or whatever relationships, whatever these things they become obstacles. And I just came to a point where I needed to be free of all this. And that's where I tell people, like, in your trading. See, if you're emotional in your trading, if you're emotional, if you're mad or you're angry or you got, so you're not that's not the right mindset. It's like that's why you struggle with like stopping out a trade or hitting. It's your ego fighting your thought process. And I know this is like a really deep, and I'm gonna share some thing. But here's the thing: when um, you've seen it take place in your trading, and it's one of the things that I do not struggle with is stopping out a trade. Do I make losing trades? Probably. I mean, yeah, just about every day because I'm a very active scalping trader, and there's not many people that trade as actively as I do. I mean, there's days that I don't realize I'm doing it. I mean, just because it's just out of natural when you made markets and all these stocks. I mean, I may trade 13 or 14, 15 stocks in a day. Some days, I may trade 3 to 5 million shares a month. And that's another story for another time. I'm going to get into a little bit more of sharing some educational things with you guys as far as trading goes. I'm a very stickler on the moving averages that we talked about earlier. And they're moving constantly. Algos, and I know people say, "Oh, I'm the algo king," or "I'm the algo whatever." Well, I don't claim to be any of that, but I do know them. And algo, they change every day. Okay, those of you who've seen my charts, you may see, like if I post a Microsoft chart today, there may be a different algo there tomorrow, or you can go. And so, anyhow, this is a very algos is something I know a lot of you want to learn about, and I'm going to try and touch on some of it. But the definition of a logarithm is anything that you can program. So you could say a whole lot of different things about the logarithms and what we got going on right now, where the market's running on a shorter time frame, which is kind of spooky. Is oil going to go up? Is inflation going to go up? And if oil goes up, then here's the thing about it. I said this before. Whichever way we go from here, it's not going to be good and not long term. If we break out and have some kind of melt up, that inflation is gonna rear its ugly head. And of course, if you buy pool supplies, if you have a swimming pool, or if you buy herbicides or any of that kind of stuff, because I have pecan trees and a swimming pool, you'll know inflation is alive and well. All of those things have tripled in price in the last 2 years. Have they come back down in price? This being yes, that being no. Yes, no. That's what. So basically, I mean, like, there's a lot of, and a bull market needs a wall of worry, right? Well, we damn sure got a wall of worry. We are not lacking a wall of worry to climb. So it's just going to be the next 6 months are going to be real interesting. If earnings are sold off going into August, and then we're going into the fall below all the averages, not saying that's going to happen. But here's the thing: I'm not here to defend the bear side or the bull side. Okay, you're a trader. I mean, at least that's why most of you probably follow me. You're a trader, so it doesn't really matter which. I just don't want. We don't want that range. Let's break. Let's go. Let's go that way. And hey, what a tremendous rally! What all these stocks? A lot of them have doubled and tripled in price. And I didn't trust the rally till everything got above the averages, and I won't trust the downside till everything gets below the averages. There are some stocks that are starting to break down in the technology sector. No, not the Apple's not breaking down. All these other stocks have rallied, but there are some stocks that are starting to show weakness, and we'll just see how weak these things become. I mean, was Tesla's numbers better than expected or in line? I forget exactly what their numbers were. So it'll be interesting to see what the I saw Meta was down almost 9 on Friday. I was looking over there. How much of this was the rebalancing? I mean, I'm interested to see what the weighting of the Qs will be tomorrow. I guess the new weightings will come out after the close tomorrow. They should, I believe so. Or maybe some of you already have that. I have not seen it. I've looked, but I hadn't seen it, and I hadn't worked my ass off to find that number. And the reason being, it's kind of funny. It's Sunday night. The financial markets never close. I mean, well, the stock market closes, but the futures are open right now. I know some guys that are already trading on Sunday night. I do from time to time, but I got away from that, man. I just I missed the days, and none of you guys were around. Like when the market was open from 9:30 to 4, there was no pre-market, there was no aftermarket. It was 9:30 to 4, and the damn thing closed. No. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. Let's fucking start trading at 4 a.m. and we'll shut this bitch down at 8. Who thought that was a good idea? It wasn't me. And now they're trying to go, what? They want to go to 24-hour stock trading. Well, you know who that's for, right? It's for the algos. It's for the computers. It's not for us. I mean, hell, I hope they don't go to 24-hour trading. Well, if they do, it's not going to affect my ass because I'm going to trade 9:30 to 4. So there. So, but no, it just, the same way with putting everything in decimals. It was all done for the algos. So, but anyhow, Apple was down a point. Sorry, I was looking at some stocks or whatever. But here's the thing. Let's go back to I love talking about the ego, and I know a lot of you like talking about it, and a lot of you guys are are just starting your. I mean, I know I've had a lot of you. I did a poll one time where I want to say 95% of you guys had just started trading in the last 5 years, I believe. Everybody was less 5. So you went through 2020. Some of you went through the 2020 COVID declines, and then you went through 2022, the bear market of 2022, which really, if you go back and look at some of the newer issues, really started in February of 21. So you had we'll see, whether this market rolls over from here or not. But I know there's a lot of things that are close to rolling down. And why in the hell is AMC up this much after hours? I was just looking over here. Interesting. AMC, woohoo! So I hope it runs. Hey, if it gets a lot of volume, it's fun to trade sometimes. We'll see. But not real sure why that one's up. But anyhow, I tell the people, the things that you should always live by is I write down my stops on a notepad, right here. If I got a stock, I'll write down my stops on the pad. And also on my charts, if you don't set alerts or alarms on your charts to pop up prices, I'll have like my watch list, and then I'll have the charts where I would either go long the stock or I'd short the stock, and I'd have those alerts set on my trading system, on my charts. And when the alert pops up, I know what I'm already going to do. This alert may have been set 2 weeks ago. It just depends on the stock. If it, something like a Microsoft or a Tesla, you'll have alarms going off all the way, and those are some stocks that are having some. I like trading the stocks that move. I mean, I know some of you guys are really like the small caps. I don't like small caps. They don't enforce the rules on small caps like they used to. I see some of these penny stocks out there that you guys are trading, and back in the day, I mean, here's something, something that none of you, I hadn't seen any of you guys, and it will eventually happen. Even if it's trading at a nickel or a dime or 50, Sometimes they'll just up and shut them down. Boom, closed, over. Your money is gone. And so far, that the SEC hadn't been real big on cracking down that. So I'm not going to go there, but I know why. It's it has a lot to do with. I always tell people there's no used to the market had a little bit of integrity, but there's none here now. There's no integrity. So that's another issue for another day. But anyhow, I'm going to keep these things. I've been going about 35 minutes, and that's probably more than you're asking. Endure anyhow. But I'm going to start doing these on a daily basis. I'm going to expand where I can show you my charts. I've been working on that. I never knew that you had to almost be a damn computer programmer to do this. I can share charts on other things, but I got to get some kind of software to do this. And I know some of you probably know a lot more about this than I do. But hopefully by the end of this week, I'll have that up and running, and I'll do more YouTube stuff. The Twitter, I'm not going to get into my rant about Twitter tonight because I'm on YouTube. But never mind. I'm not gonna. I live my life. Here's the thing that one of the things that I'm gonna tell you that will change if you'll get honest with yourself. That's the only thing that matters. Get honest with yourself. Even the little lies. And I've said this before. If you've listened to my spaces, what's the first thing you say when you roll your feet on the side of the bed? What do you say to yourself? Most of the time, it's derogatory. At least I can only speak of my experience, and I got a daggum headset wire stuck under the wheel of my chair. What a pickle. So, but anyhow, no. So, if you can be honest with yourself, and I'm going to tell you something, it is a full-time job to do that. To be honest with yourself, because most people have never got there. You don't want to look, I when I was getting my act together, I put on a lot of weight because I let eating take the place of these other things that I was doing. And you don't know you don't know you're a fat ass if you won't look in the mirror. Yeah. And one day I looked in the mirror and I'm like, holy shit. How did you get to be so fat? I can tell you, cookies, donuts, pizza, stuff like that. So, when you're live on YouTube, you can't pick your nose. Can't even. That wasn't a pick. That was just a scratch. Remember the Seinfeld episode? I probably watched too much TV back in those days. But anyhow, I'm gonna cut everybody loose. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I'm gonna do this this will be my spaces. I'm not gonna do spaces on Twitter anymore. So those of you follow me on Twitter, it's kind of funny. Not as many people follow me to YouTube. I don't really know why. Y'all like my twirling the pen? So I got my Titleist cap back there. Man, I played a tough golf course yesterday. It's in South Georgia, and it's a beautiful course. It's made on it's like this plantation sold the back swamp to some guys to build a golf course. So the golf course through a swamp, and then like some of the holes are like on the edge of beautiful Georgia hunting preserve pines. Really nice place, but man, it was a friggin' tough ass course. I'm talking about like you had to use every imaginative shot. Sometimes there was swamp on both sides of the fairway. So like if you didn't hit the fairway, your ball was in the water. Then you had to like island hop. Like you had to take like one of the par fives. You wasn't going for it in two. You was going to like hit a 4-iron, 6-iron. I mean, it was a true par five. Yeah, I double bogeyed it. Hit one in the water. Sure did. I was actually proud of that double bogey. So, but anyhow, I don't know why I'm telling y'all this. But anyhow, guys, those of you that are my subscribers, I posted those charts we talked about tonight. You've got those. Those of you watching for the first time, welcome. This is only going to get better. I'm going to improve this if this is what we're going to do. And I'll be more than happy. I know I see the comments from you guys over there. Hey, Mark, what's up, man? Katie, lawsuit. What? What was Katie talking about? He's alluding out today, though. What? Okay, Katie, whatever you're saying. Mo, love this format. Thank you. You shot 84, second time breaking 90. All right, Mark, congratulations, man. I mean, like 90s, I never realized I shot 85 yesterday. And I hit the ball really, really good. I mean, I really did. My chipping was that I didn't. My chipping was like really, really good. I mean, but just it was a real tough course. My son shot 76. Little bastard. Yeah, me and another old dude's playing my son and one of his high school buddies in a par 3 tournament this week. We're gonna wax their ass. Yeah. If I don't get drunk and skull everything. So, are you talking about AMC, Katie? Oh, okay. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't see it when I was talking about AMC, and I remember the law. I said, what? I'm like, what? Damn, my first episode, I'm getting sued. Welcome to the United States. Thank you, Katie. so, yeah, Mar 84, man, that's good. That's the second time breaking 90. Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't play. I quit playing golf. I used to play a lot, and I was probably a 6 handicap, 8 handicap. I think 8 was my official handicap, the lowest I got it. And then I didn't play golf for 20 years. I didn't even have a set of clubs. And during COVID, my son was, I don't know what, 12 or 13 during COVID, and he was so damn bored. Uh, Somebody invited him to play golf, and because we couldn't do anything during COVID, because it was so. Anyhow, I have a pecan farm, and he got him some clubs and started hitting around the pecan orchard. And I told him, I was like, before if this is what you like, and lo and behold, man, he just really was consumed with it, and now he's since COVID, he went from not playing golf to shooting his best round. He shot a 73 so far in 2 friggin' years. So I didn't start playing. I told him, I was like, if you're gonna drag, if you want me to get back to playing golf, I was like, you're gonna have to get your shoot and get under 90 before I'm gonna go spend $100 to play golf somewhere, because I hadn't hit. And I never, even when I had a low handicap, I didn't know how. I still didn't have a proper swing. I was a lot younger, and I was a lot more beefed up, and I could swing wrong and hit the ball. Well, so I've never had a proper swing. Well, anyhow, I'm working on having a proper swing, and of course, now I'm working on. I did shoot a round this year that I was only 2 over, and it was just a miracle round. I meant just like chipping shit in, making an eagle on a par 4, knocking in the hole from 150, which never happens. I don't think I've hit a green since then. So yeah, but it's golf is a difficult sport, but Martin, that's the 84 is good, man. I mean, especially it's a game that you really need to practice every friggin' day to be good at, and I don't have time to practice every day. Now, my son, if you get to come back, I want to come back as my damn son. That's what I want to do. Yeah, man, the kid gets to play golf every day, but that's ended. I'm gonna just tell y'all something. I don't know if you got kids, and if you do, if they're in high school, we've gone friggin' crazy. Our kids don't even get a summer, and it pisses me off. I mean, like, they practice, and I don't know how the hell they get away with this. In the state of Georgia, they have been practicing football all summer. They got 1 week off for summer, and they have practiced every friggin' day from 8 in the morning to 11 football Monday through Thursday the entire damn summer. My girls are cheerleaders. They've done the same thing all summer. I mean, like, you got this week to have a vacation, and that's it. That's the only thing. Y'all can't leave town no damn more. And they start football camp July the 24th. tomorrow. Well, no, they got to go helmets for a week. And then 15 straight Fridays. We made it all the way to state last year. 15 straight Fridays on the road, up road. Then my daughters do competition cheer on Saturdays. So we might get home at 2 in the morning and have to have our 15-year-olds back at the high school gym by 4:35 in the morning. It's friggin' nuts. It's ridiculous. I mean, like, it's what they don't get to enjoy anything. The pressures on kids nowadays, my God. And thank God there was no social media when I was coming up, because if there was social media, I would be viral like multiple damn times, showing my ass in Jacksonville or locked up here. Or thank God they didn't have cell phones when I was coming up. I mean, I can remember somebody getting a Polaroid. Remember the Polaroid camera you used to take a picture and it'd come out the end. You sit there and watch it develop. Yeah, I had somebody took a picture of me with one of those, and I can remember the stress and horror I had because he had a picture of me running somewhere naked. And so, anyhow, so if you got that Polaroid, I want it back. All right, guys, this has been 45 minutes, and I'm just kind of ranting and just kind of learning here on YouTube. And if you're one of the 3 or 4 people uh, that watched tonight, thank you. What's up, Mark? Best way to decompress and reset after a long week. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't de-stress me. Sometimes it stresses me. No, not really. It's kind of funny because my son, he is if you watch the pros, of course, I talked about Harmon, the Georgia guy winning the Open today. Golf, I mean, like, man, just one shot. I mean, like one friggin' shot, and you're boom. I could like. I'd have a great round going and do something like hit something out of it and make a quadruple bogey on the hole, just like that, made a 9 or a 10 on a par 3. So I got this one par 3, that wherever your course is, you got that one friggin' hole you cannot get. I mean, I could do just as damn good if I'd hit my putter off the tee box and just see if I could get it to go up the damn cart path. I thought about it. One time, this par 3 pissed me off so bad, I took my driver out just to get it across this damn creek. I went 150 yards past the tee box, but it got across the creek. And that was the point. Them people in 2 fairways over was wanting to know what I was doing over there on a par 3. I was like, mind your own business. It don't matter what I'm doing over here. But anyhow. All right, guys. I enjoy talking to you, and I'm gonna have some life lessons here, and I'm gonna share some charts. And tonight was kind of the beginning of this format. I flirted with doing this and trying to decide whether I wanted to even do anything on social media, and because I was, but anyhow, long story short, I know that somebody, whether it's one person or 2 people or somebody, is going to benefit from something I tell you, and that's why I'm here. And so, anyhow, everybody have a great Sunday evening. Hit your stops this week. You know what? Stops should not be a question. You're not struggling with buying. That's not your struggle. I've never ran into anybody that I'm having trouble buying this. No, that's not your problem. So if buying's not your problem, what's your problem? Which selling, right? Yeah, selling. Of course, I know it sounds easy, but you let it get away from you. I mean, if it's at wherever you stop, I said it. Depending on time frame, lower wick. If it breaks it, you sell it. Period. But it's the point below that wick. I don't give a rat's ass. You sell it. You get out of it. The trade is over. Okay, it's over. You do it. You just get out. So anyhow, all right, guys. Anything anybody wants? If you want me to talk about whatever, I'm going to try and do this. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. Probably going to do this on a daily basis. But if there's anything, Wes, what's up, man? I ain't seen you around. Everything good out there, man? All right. Well, I was hanging up. Then Wes said hello. I ain't seen Wes in a while. Hey, Wes, you still got my phone number? Text me sometime. All right. You laying low? All right. Good. Heavy ego. I'm going to touch a lot on ego because that's the psychology of trading is kind of what I think that um, is what I'm supposed to be doing. I just gotta. I really. I want to give you a play by play what the things that I guess the I went through, and I'm not going to hold anything back, and I'm going to lay it out in a better format where I don't stumble all over it, kind of like I've done tonight. Just because I know some of you guys have heard my story, and I don't want to be a whatever, but yeah, the ego. I mean, like eh, the one thing the one thing heavy ego when you was talking about wanting to do more about the ego, the first thing to do in the morning when your feet roll out, write down. I'm serious. Get a notebook out because like this is not going to be an easy task because you're going to be trying to fight your enemy within. So this is a really really deep. But write down what your mind. The first thoughts? Your first thoughts that enter your mind in the morning. What are they? Were they self destructive? Were they reconfirming? Were they loving? That's the first step is to see where you're at. Most people never have stopped and realize where they're at in that. And that right there is the first thing that I would ask you answer because see, this is a self quiz. I mean, like to your own self, be true. And I mean, some of the things that I had to let go of was mind boggling. I mean, I look back on it like, damn. I mean, how many kids? I mean, like if you're a man and if you had a normal childhood and the love for your mother, think about if that same woman tried to murder you. I mean, you had this shame and this guilt that you walked around with, and the the answers that you needed were things that you detested. Yeah, because see, you're gonna have to go put your trust in something that you never trusted. You have to put your trust into something you never had. Oh, I never had. I can't speak for anybody, but I can make assumptions where you're at. And most of us dysfunctional people had some kind of chemical struggle, whether it be alcohol or drugs or whatever, the addictions. And that was just to try and fill a hole. And then your life became like a Guns N' Roses song, right? I used to do a little, but the little wouldn't do it, so the little got more and more. I love that song. Anyhow, uh, but yeah, I will. I'm definitely that's where we're going with this Heavy Eagle. Are you Indian Heavy Eagle? Heavy Eagle. If you are, I mean, like I used to love going fishing on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. Anyhow, you're not okay. Well, I was hoping you was a Blackfoot. And I can go fishing on the Indian Reservation with you. The Blackfeet out in Montana. If any, by chance, anybody that lives on that reservation ever watches this, thank you so much for taking me fishing on your reservation. A little scary going down uh, uh, an Indian reservation down a dirt road for a couple hours in the middle of nowhere. I'm thinking, they got them a white Georgia cracker they finna kill. I was gonna get scalped. Woo. So, but no. Anyhow, your half sister's Choctaw. That's a Tim McGraw song. Remember Tim McGraw? Tug McGraw. Remember the pitcher for the Phillies? Tim McGraw was his son. Neat story. Back when I was a stockbroker, Tim McGraw, the country singer, his parents were clients of mine. Yep. Tim McGraw's parents had a had a lake house on the same lake I had a lake house on. So I got to know them. They were drunks with plenty of money. But no, but anyhow. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Y'all have a great week. Trade them good. Hit your stops. Don't believe that lie. and we will see you next time. Thank you. Peace out.